Welcome to Board Game Homies, where a group of friends play, review, and share about all things board games. Sitting around the table today are...
Reed, Becky,
Gillian,
and I'm Angela. Today we have our top 5 new to us games of 2024, aka games we love more than our family. Just kidding, Berks. We love you more than any other board game. There were over 3,000 games released at Eschen Spiel for this year. So trying to quantify that into the best games of the year is a really, really hard thing to do, and we would miss things. So instead, we wanted to do a year in review that celebrates classics we played for the first time, as well as the hot new releases. This year, we've logged 152 plays with all 4 of us, and over 300 plays with any combination of us. That's almost 100 unique games we've all played combined. To make this list, we've ranked our top 9 new to us games on PubMeeple, assigned them points based on where they ranked on our cumulative top 5. One variable I will note is that as we work through Becky and Gillian's vast collection, Reed and I have a lot of new to us games that wouldn't appear on their list. After the top 5 review, we're going to do some rapid fire questions that include things like worst play of the year, the funnest games of the year, the best digital implementation. Now, to keep us on our toes, we did not tell each other our top games. Everyone sent them to me, and this is the first time everyone will hear them. That includes our top 5 game of this year is, with 16 points cumulatively, Brussels, 1893. It appeared on 3 of the 4 top lists, but it didn't appear on Reed's list. If you want to go back and listen to a deep dive on Brussels 1893, there is a podcast about it, of course. Guys, Brussels 1893 coming in 5th place. Shocked or not shocked?
all 3 of us looked shocked when you said that. It was great. We all had the same face.
I'm surprised it ranks so high with Reed not even including it.
Reed.
I mean, I might have included it in one of the other categories that we had.
Those come at the end of this top 5 list, Reed.
Wow.
Yeah, a game made it into the top 5 that literally did not make it on somebody's list. Yeah, which speaks to, I think, how much we enjoyed, well, how most of us enjoyed the plays of that game this year.
That is very surprising. I like that game a lot, though. I think you just need to try it at 2 players, Reed, and then you'll learn how cutthroat it can be.
I'm too shocked.
I know. I'm shocked, too.
I'm like, wow. It's like throwing it all off for me. I'm like, wow, 3 out of the 4 of us can change the trajectory.
Yeah, and I would say the only... Becky, this didn't make it into your top 9, but it made it into your top 9, but it didn't make it into your top 3 or top 5 of your list. But it did make Gillian and I's top list. Both not within Gillian's top 3, but it was my second most highest ranked game.
Oh, wow. Angela,
that
you
is
never
surprising.
talk about this game.
Yeah. I think it's Reed because you don't love playing it. And so I'm like, but I really, really liked that game.
Nice.
The mechanics of it, the way it moves, the way it tickled my brain. Yeah, and it's just really beautiful. So
You just liked cutting us off of action spaces.
I did love how mean this game would be.
You did tap a lot of nobles. Yes.
Well, I think that's to what you talk about is I don't think I've even scratched the surface of what some of the strategies to win that game could be. And my first play was so drastically different than my second play. And I think there's just a lot more to discover. And, you know, I don't know that this would make my top 5 games of all time or anything like that. But I did really love it.
I didn't expect it to be in your top 9, and I'm like shook it's your second highest.
Wow.
We need to play this game.
I know, I was like, let's just play this after we record today. Maybe it'll be my second game that I'm wrong about.
Yeah, I think that was number 5 on my list. So
I am shooketh that it was your number 2.
I know.
Mm-hmm.
If it's your number 2, we should be playing it more.
Yeah. Also, you got to play it 2 players.
That is the most agonizing 2-player game I think I've played because it was literally every move you make is to try to cut off the other person.
I mean,
So it's just, Becky and I were like,
we were both mad. Like,
yeah, we at
were
the
mad.
end, we were just like,
but like, it was a good game.
I mean, you're selling it. That sounds pretty good.
Coming in at number 4 with 18 points, just a few more than Brussels. It appeared again on 3 of our lists, but not on one of them. It is Kanban EV.
I want to know who didn't put that on the
Becky.
list. Becky.
Becky.
Really?
I really like that game, but it wasn't in my top 9
Of this year?
of this year.
That's shocking.
I am not surprised that it is in the top 5, though. You 3 love that game a
Well,
lot.
it made Reed and I's top 3 of this year, but it did not make Gillian's top 3. It
It was
fell
number 6.
more to the middle of his list.
I love this game. I don't have anything else to say.
Yeah, for our first Lacerda game, I found it very approachable. And I liked it a lot. A nice worker placement game with a lot of easy to understand complexity, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and I of course, I've talked on and on about how much the theme resonates with me, which is very silly. I bring this up in meetings all the time. I'm always like, do you want to know about this middle management worker placement game where you're putting on presentations and trying to get all of your training done? Everybody looks at me like, is that actually a game? I was like, it is, and it's delightful. So I think thematically with the gameplay, the fact that it is an easier Lacerda to learn, it just ticked all of the right boxes this year. I was so happy it lived up to the hype I had generated in my own head about it.
I definitely want to play that game more. I think for myself, like I would benefit in terms of like how much I enjoy it if I played it more frequently. I think various amounts of you 3 have played that game at different times when I haven't been there. And so I think if I had some more plays, maybe it would be higher up for me.
How many times have you played twice?
2 or 3.
2 or 3 times.
Well, the last 2 games I played, I won, so it's definitely high up on my list.
How much is our list affected by how many games we've won?
Oh, actually, not at all, because I think I've only won one of the my top games like once. So,
Is number 3 Cult of the New, or is it just such an amazing game? Coming in on everybody's list, game number 3 is Barrage with 19 points.
I'm not surprised given how much we seem to have enjoyed our first few plays of that game.
Also, if you've not heard us talk about Barrage more in depth, it's actually the podcast that's releasing after this one, which will have all of our detailed notes. And spoiler alert, we really like this game. So when you listen to that podcast, there won't be a lot of critiques.
It is probably one of the meanest Euro games I think we've played. It's kind of similar to Brussels in that capacity, where everything just feels a little cutthroat in comparison to some other classic Euro games like Castles of Burgundy and others. But I enjoy that aspect of it, and it's just a very satisfying Euro game.
the competition for worker placement spots that's the interactive element where you're just trying to race other people, and there is just something so interesting about it. And it took me a while to figure it out with the water pipes going different ways and where you needed to be strategic. But now I feel like it's one of the games where I think through in the very beginning what I want to do and then continually evolve my strategy, and it tickles my brain.
I'm looking forward to see how much more our group plays this game. Like, I think we're going to play it a lot. It's great. And it also is a brain burner for some of us, like maybe me, definitely me, maybe not just me. Yep.
Yeah, it's definitely interactive, not just in the worker placement, but also in the construction spaces you have on the main map. That'll dictate how water flows in the game, and you could block somebody else off from getting water by putting your dam upstream from theirs. And so that element is a very excruciating decision space, because you have to decide if you want to spend less money to build in the hills or the flatlands, or if you want to build in mountains at a higher price so that nobody else can cut you off. But in the early game, it's just it's really difficult to do the latter. So I enjoy it a lot.
Appearing on only 3 lists, but making it to our number 2 game of 2024 with a whopping 24 points, The White Castle.
Whose list was it not on? Angela.
It
So
wasn't on my list.
I am not surprised that it is in the number 2. It's my number 1 game of the year. but I'm surprised it didn't make your list.
It was surprising, and I think this is because the more I've played the White Castle, I am working through my own feelings of it feeling at times a little swingy based on what comes out and how many combos you can make, which feels sometimes essential. And I've had this debate with Reed, who then says, I never combo anything and I win all the time. And so I'm always like, okay, Reed. But I think that's my own internal struggle. But that internal struggle has meant I have not hit a zen point with the game where I love every single play of it. And to be fair, it's influenced by the fact that I think I started really strong in that game, lost the thread for the whole game multiple times, and has led to me being like, rah, 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 this game. So that's why, not that it's not a great game and I'm excited about Matcha, but I was shooketh that I was like, didn't make my top 9.
That is very surprising, but I guess it makes sense. I mean, it does, but doesn't, because you never talk about Brussels, yet it was your number 2. You never talk about the White Castle, and it's off your list. So that's...
I'm a person of mystery.
The White Castle is a puzzly type game and strategy that every time it unfolds in a different way, even though sometimes I'll lose the thread as I'm like, oh, where was I going? I just love it. It's something that it's like, I like how do I pick this up again? How do I do this? Oh, Gilliam took my spot, so how do I go around it? And I love this game.
Even though it sometimes probably looks like I am in excruciating thinking pain while I'm trying to figure out what to do, I also enjoy every play of this game because of the puzzle aspect. And Angela, to what you were saying, I do remember that one time you had the most combo-tastic game and you still lost.
On a tiebreaker to you, Becky.
To me, it was good. I won that game. But I do find it interesting that it doesn't seem like there's only one way to win. Like, just because Angela had the most incredible combo where she played like all of her warriors and still didn't win, barely, but still didn't win, or Reed like never combos and wins often. It just seems like there are lots of routes.
And I'd say the one route from my perspective that seems unexplored is going up the crane track.
Yes.
Because I haven't been in a game where anybody's made it past like the second section of the crane track.
I've made it to the, I think, like 10 or 11, but I haven't made it to that one where every time you go up, you get more victory points.
Yeah, and this is not to say that this isn't a great game. Of course, it landed on 3 of the 4 lists. And what I really appreciate about this game is without the expansion, you get 9 turns. That's it. This is like, if you think Barrage is cutthroat or you're doing X things and someone takes your spot, that's great. You have a lot of turns in Barrage because you have X number of workers. You get 9 turns, period, end of sentence. There's no way to get more workers. There's nothing else you can do. And I actually love that tricky brain space that it presents. I just don't know if I love that tricky brain space that it presents.
Yeah, I was going to say it's not top 9 worthy.
This is not going to be a surprise.
Our number 1 game probably isn't a surprise. It made everybody's list at this table. It was the top game on 2 of the 4 lists, and it was second place on one of our lists with 31 whopping points. It is Nana.
Nana.
It is Nana.
I want to know where it was on Becky's list if it wasn't in the top 2.
Number 1.
That was your number. Oh, that was your number 1?
Oh,
it wasn't
Angela.
your number 1. Mm-hmm. What was your number 1?
My number 1 was Kanban EV.
Wow.
You do love middle management.
I love middle management. This game actually ranked 5th. It was kind of a surprise. Like, if you think Gillian is the heavy Euro, in-depth, strategic player, this was number 1 on his list, but number 5 on my list. I found that to be a surprise because most of the games in my collection are like medium and light. And in fact, this was the game that we got for my birthday. So I kind of knew that I would like it, but I'm surprised it was so high on everybody else's list.
This is a game that just came out of nowhere that I wasn't expecting to like as much as I did, but man, it's our most played game of the year with all 4 of us by far. Not that it takes very long to play a single game, but it always just brings joy, and it's a nice kind of filler style game where you can fit it in between heavier games, and every play has just been a joy. at its heart a memory game. And I usually don't like those types of games, but this one, for some reason, really got me. And I think a lot of it has to do with the artwork, which is so adorable.
The artwork is incredible. I love all the sprinkles and confetti on all the cards. Everything is just so cute. And like Gillian's saying, like we just have so much fun every time we play it. And we usually play like 5 games in a row. So we're like, oh, was that in the last game or the first game? Is this now? Is that a 7? No, it's a 9. And I've flipped that one 3 times. It's just so much fun.
I ordered a second copy today, this morning, without thinking that it would hit number 1 on this. So exciting, delightful.
Why'd you buy a second copy?
Oh, it's a pub copy. So I have one that I don't mind getting a little dinged up. And then I have the other one where I get to stare at the golden pigs.
And I wasn't criticizing you at all because Becky and I have 2 copies as well.
Yeah,
so.
I was going to say, like, we have 2.
Wow, I'm the only one without 2 copies.
Well,
of
you
this
did
game.
You did buy 2
to.
copies. You just gave away the other one.
Oh, that's right. We all have at one point owned 2 copies of this game. I was tabulating all of our points because I was the only one who knew, and Ashton came over and I was like showing her the list, and she said, I hear you talk about this game Brass all the time. How come Brass isn't on the list? And I had to explain, this is 2024. We played that last year. And I said, well, Ashton gets dragged into games a whole lot. And I said, what's your favorite game that you've played new to you in 2024? And she said, oh, obviously Nana. Obviously. And I thought that was really great for a game of heavy Euro players. But this game just came along and tickles and pickles us in ways that we didn't think we would have.
Her favorite game wasn't Sagrada Artisans?
That was last year.
That was last
Oh,
year.
it was, wasn't it? Man,
And
time
you
flies.
still haven't played it since
Yeah,
last
we've only
year.
played the one game, and then Ashton refuses to play with us. So
We love you, Ashton.
An honorable mention coming in at number 6, just barely missed this list, was actually 10 points. Lord of the Rings Duel for Middle Earth.
I just want to say with that, all 6 of my top games made that top 6.
And which got me to another fun fact. Gillian's list was the closest to what became our eventual list. There were...
I'm not surprised at that, considering that Gillian introduces us to all of these amazing games.
Kanban and Nana were Angela.
And to be fair, what is interesting is that we are beings of pure chaos who did not influence enough what Gillian's top list was. And that being said, there were 5 games that only appeared on 2 of our lists, but were fairly close to breaking into that honorable mention. Nucleum, based almost entirely on Becky's placement into her top 3. Arc Nova, led by Gillian and myself. A Feast for Odin, which, to be fair, Becky and Gillian could not put on their list. Or, sorry, Gillian could not put on his list, but that we have recently played. Thunder Road Vendetta made it on to 2 of the lists.
Surprisingly mine.
I'm not surprised.
I am.
And surprisingly, Reed's list.
I'm not surprised by that at all.
That's not the surprising part.
Yeah, being of chaos. So it makes sense.
I like cars that go fast.
Now, the fun fact, and this is tying it into Gillian being an agent of the neutral middle ground and all of us being chaos, is he was the only one who didn't have a game that was only on his list. All of his games had a duplicate somewhere else. So the games that appeared on only one list include Clans of Caledonia, Clank Catacombs, King Domino, Railroad Inc., Revive, Welcome to the Moon, Scout, Dune Uprising, none of which made anybody else's list.
Rita's very upset that Railroad Inc. was only on one list, which is her.
But then I remember that you've played it before.
But also, it's not in my top 10 of all time.
Oh, Reed does not look happy.
Wow, that friendship ended really quickly. I don't know who we're replacing with other Rick, but it might be Becky.
Listen, I love Railroad Inc. and I want to play it all the time and talk about it all the time. It just wasn't in my top 10.
Well, this is top 10 of this year.
That's
so
true.
I
Of
didn't
this
say
year.
it was
Top 9.
top 9. but I didn't say it was my. I don't know if it's in my top 9 of all time.
Oh, okay.
But it probably is because I looked at my pub maple and I think it is.
I almost put Dune Imperium Uprising on there, but I felt it was a little too close to the original to like warrant a spot on this, which was interesting. But yeah, that was an honorable mention for me. I would say it was my number 10.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised it didn't make your list, and in fact only made Becky's list. I think I need to play Uprising more. I think it suffered from not enough plays and not me getting immediately obsessed with it.
I think part of it for me is I love Dune Imperium so much that I kind of was like, I'll take Dune Imperium Uprising. Heck yeah. Heck yeah. And I mean, I do think that game did some really great changes to the base game. And so it's excellent.
I'm going to argue that it's not that we're chaos agents, it's that Gillian is a tastemaker when it comes to board games. It is. So,
yeah,
I'm not surprised.
One of my first thoughts was like, this is why Reed buys games that Gillian bought, because like they're solid.
Exactly.
He has a solid foundation.
No, I will say the game I introduced, we collectively owned at 1.6 copies of the game. So
It helps that it's cheapish.
it does help. Every one of Gillian's games is like an $80 purchase.
I'm pretty sure Gillian considered buying Kanban EV.
Yeah, I think that.
Well, when we were first thinking about getting a Lacerda game, Kanban EV was on my short list, and then Angela bought it. So I decided to go with Weather Machine.
Was Revive on anybody's list, or that was just on mine?
Just on yours. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me. And Becky and I couldn't put it on ours.
true.
So
It is on my all-time top 10 list.
yeah, same here.
What would you say, anything that you learned doing this list that made you think, and we're going to jump into the quick bites, which might be a little more illuminating, but just putting together your top 9 and your top 5 as they compare to your all-time list, or just reflecting upon these games, anything that stood out to you?
I haven't gone through the exercise of looking at my top games of all time with this in mind, but certainly just looking at my list, I think at least 2 of them would make my top 10 of all time. Barrage and probably the White Castle. The other ones might slot, some other ones might slot in there as well. Nana for one, but yeah, I haven't really assessed that.
I'm wondering, this is our first full year being a game group, and I wonder if this was a particularly hard year because Gillian and Becky had played so many games that Angela and I hadn't played, which might be why the lists aren't as similar. But if we do this each year where we look at the new to us games, I bet that they're going to be more on par with each other.
I really hate ranking things. That's a really hard thing for me to do. And so instead of just ranking the new to me games, I decided to take all the games that I've played and rank them, and then I would just filter it out for new to me this year. And that was an interesting experience because like when I look at my new games to me this year, Arc Nova came in number 10, which is kind of surprising, period. But like overall, it's my number 42nd game out of all time. And I also learned a couple of things that I wanted to share with you guys that are about games that I've already played. I used to be pretty obsessed with Orleans. Oh. And that one, like, it kept coming up, and I pretty much picked most games over it.
Wow.
And it almost got to the point where I thought about just like deleting it from the ranking list because I was like, this is not being helpful. But I'm having a hard time wrestling with that because I really like that game, but apparently not as much as I used to. I also am ashamed to say, oh God.
Is it Isle of Cats? Is it Isle of Cats?
Don't say it, he'll make you get rid of it.
Brass is down at number 7.
I mean, it's still in your top 10, though.
It's still in the top 10, but still, like, for a game that I love so much, like, I was really shocked by the number 7.
But you and I talked about that in the context of Barrage, and there's a reason for that.
Do you want to talk about it?
No, you're supposed to chime in and say, yeah, it's because Angela destroys us.
Okay. No, so it's because I think part of it is that we've gotten to a rhythm where it does seem like Cotton is going to win every time. Angela, I think, is not convinced of this yet, so I still have hope. But it does seem like Cotton's going to win unless somebody tries to fight Cotton, but they're sacrificing themselves to not win the game. So they leave the door open for someone else. So, I mean, I want to explore that more, but I also think part of it too is like, we've gotten to play Brass so many times that I think it's really filled my Brass bucket. And so I'm feeling more excited about some other games. And like, of my all-time top games, like 2 of them are games I haven't even gotten to play this year. And that's Spirit Island and Fury of Dracula. Like, I love those games, and I haven't played them at all. So,
not for the lack of trying in terms of Fury of Dracula. We tried to get that going for October, but it just didn't pan out.
It was a lot of talk.
I think that list is interesting what you shared, because I don't feel the same way about Brass. What I appreciate about where we've taken our play of Brass is that we are developing our own knowledge about how each other plays Brass.
So
and
our own meta.
Our own meta within that game. Like, I know Becky as a player does XYZ, and so it's hard to break out of that. And so you're actually playing the player sometimes and not the game. And I feel that way about the Cotton strategy. When we first played Brass, I think everyone was like, ew, who would even build Cotton? That's the dumbest thing. And then we went from never playing Cotton to it might be the strategy that wins the game all the time. So that's what I really appreciate about games like that, and what I think is the potential for Barrage is there is so much untapped potential on how to win, which is, I always come back to read. There are so many different strategies, and it would feel boring if there was only one strategy. So I do want to play that out. And certainly we haven't seen what happens if 2 players try to play Cotton at the same time, who would win in that struggle, and it takes us being bold enough to play it. The other thing is, I wonder how much recency bias, and I've said this in our side conversations, recency bias plays into any top of the year lists. If we had done this list, say Arc Nova had come along 3 or 4 weeks before we made this list, Arc Nova would have ranked way higher on my list. And I think that around Barrage, like right now we're recording the pod for it. We've only gotten it to the table 1 or 2. There's so much left to explore. Yes, it might make a really great game in the vein of Brass, or it could be something that's just coming along, because I was surprised by how low Arc Nova was. But I've also, like you said about filling your cup, I've maybe played, 100 plays of Arc Nova online, and it fills my cup up all the time, but I play it so much now that it kind of had a little bit of wear and tear. Whereas something like Barrage has just come up, and I'm like, how many games of Barrage can I play? And that number is only like 3 or 4 digitally. So I wonder about recency bias and the ability to look back later and what games stand the test of time.
Well, Nucleum is a game that we played relatively recently, and it didn't make it to this list. And I think we all enjoyed playing it. So I just think that Barrage and Feast for Odin are really good.
When I look at my list, I think that the ones that we've played earlier in the year are the ones that are higher up on mine. I do have Barrage on there. It's number 9, and Duel for Middle-earth is number 8. But Duel for Middle-earth, I think, like, I really enjoyed it, but like I still prefer Seven Wonders Duel, so I don't think it's going to be ultimately very high in my games, all things considered. But like Scout was my number 4, and I think we played that at the beginning of the year.
I almost put Scout on mine, but didn't.
Wow, I think it's because I played that game so much. I'm kind of, now to be fair, we've been playing that game kind of wrong. We can do an episode about rules that you mess up and then you think are the real rules. How everybody thinks free parking in Monopoly is full of money. But I really do like that game. And I think it suffers just a little bit from, in my own headspace, of not having played it recently. If we had been playing that game as consistently as our other top favorite small box game, I think it would have made it higher on the list. As promised, we're going to do a rapid fire review of a bunch of topics that we brainstormed. We're each going to say a game that resonates with us and maybe a little bit of the reason why, but we have a bunch of them. I think it's going to be really fun, starting with, not to be a negative Nancy, but what was your least favorite game that you played this year?
Should we all say this at the same time?
No.
I think they would be different.
I mean, I'll say it. It's Terraforming Mars, the dice game.
Not a controversial take at all.
Yeah, I put Forest Shuffle, but I kind of forgot about the dice game. But I had so much joy that we played the dice game, the board game, and the card game that I think like I forgot about how bad that game was because I was just so excited about playing all three versions.
The dice game is really bad. Also, Becky, I'm really surprised Forest Shuffle was your worst play of the year. Wow.
No, least favorite game.
Okay.
I have zero interest to play it again. I did well, I won, and I'm good. I thought you knew that.
I mean, I didn't know it was that bad for you. I did because nobody ended up resonating with that game, have to turn around and sell it because you guys are jerks. But I am playing a delightful game online, and I keep losing. That's not the point. Wow.
Maybe you should invite me.
I will invite you to the next one. What was your least favorite game?
What was yours?
My least favorite game, and this kind of verges because it was kind of at the end of the last year, but it was After Us. And I think it was because I kind of liked that game for 5 seconds. After Us is this like little, you're moving cubes around, and I got so angry. Like for me, Terraforming Mars, the dice game, is a blatant cash grab. It's not a great game. After Us was a game that, like, you're just shuffling cubes. Like, I just became so angry about shuffling cubes around, and it still makes me angry.
That's fair, and I have to agree with pretty much all of your least favorite games. And those didn't immediately pop into my mind, but what did was one that kind of surprised me. It's Wild Tiled West.
I'm not surprised. You said that you didn't like it.
Yeah, but I was surprised that it was my least favorite game. But hearing yours, I think it's kind of a toss-up. But I don't know what it was about Wild Tiled West that I just didn't like. I thought it was just very reminiscent of Owl Cats, which I'm kind of over as well. And on top of that, the Western theme just does not do it for me. So, like, the Western theme is to me as the nautical theme is to read, where it does not resonate with me at all.
Wow. Hurt by that one. All of these, it's kind of like telling somebody you hate their kid. You know, you're like,
Wow.
Ooh, didn't like that one.
Except for the dice game.
Yeah, everybody hated that kid. That's the punk who runs around like pushing things over at the birthday party that you're like, oh God, that kid. All right. What was your most surprising game of the year?
Nana. Where the heck did that game come out of? And it's my number one. I love it.
Kanban EV.
Wow.
How's that a hot take?
Well, just a surprising game. I think because Lacerdas have kind of this reputation, it fits in our typical style of play game.
Wow, guys, let me teach you this middle management game. It's so cool. I love it. Middle manager.
But Reed's also like, I love the BART train, and I love like architecture and like structures and public works.
Except in 1893.
What do you have against Paul?
Yeah, there's
And
so many
Paul.
Or
more.
other Paul. Maybe even George. I don't know.
Don't forget Paul.
My surprising game is one that I actually bought, so I shouldn't be surprised by it, and yet I am, because I think it's resonated with everyone I've played the game with, and that's even weirder. Like, I really thought this was just going to be a game I could play with Ashton. It's Mlem. Like, the cover is kind of weird. The cats, for me, were strange looking. Ashton saw the cover and was like, ew, gross. Why did you buy this? And I was like, I bought it for us. But that game has hit with a lot of people as just like a pure, fun, silly, like, Captain Scoops, let's get on board and get going. So yeah, that was just kind of a surprise, even though I bought the game.
Question. Has Ashton actually played that game?
I don't think so. And that should be the least surprising, is how little Ashton plays board games. I think she'll play with me.
I don't think Mlem is anywhere on my list for this episode, but I really do love that game. And the cover, I was like, I do not want to play this game. Those space cats are freaky. And I also don't win at it because I just really enjoy like pushing my luck in that game for victory that I never get, but it's a joy.
Yeah, I agree. That was a really good game. That took me by surprise as well. But I kind of did two splits here, two takes, one positive, one negative. My positive surprising game of the year was Thunder Road Vendetta. I'm not a huge fan of player elimination in games, and I was worried as we were playing this game about the player elimination. I was eliminated fairly early on, I think, in our first play. But it somehow circumvents that, I think, just with the chaotic fun that it presents. And also, a player getting eliminated kind of introduces the end game where the finish line pops up. And so you're not out of the game for like 40 minutes like you are in Everdell. So that was a thing that helped, I think, get me past the hurdle of Thunder Road Vendetta's player elimination. The negative, I would say, is actually Wormspan. And I say that because I do like Wingspan, and when they announced Wormspan, I was like, oh, dragons. I like dragons. This is going to be good. But I kind of, as we said in the Wormspan episode, I like Wingspan more than Wormspan, so I was a little disappointed in that. It wasn't a huge negative. It was just surprising that I didn't like it more than Wingspan for me.
I put Wormspan and Mlem in the same category right now because there are two games that people that we introduced to that like lighter games absolutely adore. And so I'm very happy to pull them out for a game night, but they're not the games that I would pick myself to play.
Okay, from surprising game to the game that broke your brain this year, what gave you the scrambly wamblies?
Becky tried to guess the game that broke my game and guessed like 5 different games, and then she finally got it. Toluva.
Wow.
Oh!
What?
Yeah.
No, you got to stack the tiles on top of each other. They're like 3 layers.
And then you get to like take over somebody else's tile, and I don't even understand it.
I mean, it didn't help that you were tired when we played. Like,
Yeah.
you looked out of it
I know,
when
I
we
was
even
like,
started.
I can't learn another game, and then it's like the most complicated game I've ever played.
This is actually my favorite thing that Becky does. It'll be really late. Gillian has wandered off to a warm glass of milk, and we're sitting here. We've probably played a whole bunch of heavy Euros, and Becky's like, hey, how about we learn this new game that I absolutely love? It's like her time to trick us, because there have been so many games after a session that she's like, what about this game? I know you have room to learn one more. It's my favorite. And you can't say no to Becky. So then you end up playing Toluva and trying to play 3-dimensional chess. And she's like, you lose. Haha, I win.
That game is my number 10 of all time. Top
Oh,
game.
whoa!
I love Toluva.
I would play Toluva not at 10 o'clock at night.
That's fair. We should definitely play it again.
Wow, it's shocking. Do I even know you anymore?
You know I love Toluva.
I want to see Becky's top 10 of
too.
all time. We
It's
know
like
like
we-
1, 7, and 10
We
now.
know Gentle Rain's 9, right?
No! It's not a game.
It's number 1, Gillian. Duh. The game that broke my brain, and I've spoke to it a little bit earlier, is the White Castle. Those 9 moves trying to be... Every game is about being efficient. And also, when you only have 9 turns, it doesn't leave a lot of room. I think in our review of that game, I was like, wow, you mess up and you've ruined, a third of your opportunities in that game. So the White Castle definitely gave me the scrambly ramblies and continues to do so.
I do better in a game where I don't have to think ahead, like where I'm not punished for not thinking ahead 9 turns ahead. And I said so many of those words multiple times. But for me, it's Barrage and Kanban EV. Like, that is such big brain planning. And, like, I feel like you can really hurt yourself if you do poorly in the beginning, which I often do. And then it's a fight the rest of the game.
Becky has the scrambly wamblies.
The scrambly whamblies.
And to be fair, she says that every time we're like, let's play Kanban. She's like, my brain.
Or I'm like, ah!
I also have to agree with you on Kanban. That's what I listed. I remember our first play just not quite understanding the sequencing and actions to actually do productive things and just getting locked out by other players jumping the gun and beating me to a specific spot that I was maybe thinking about going to, but not really sure. And then by the second and third game, I feel like it clicked for me finally. I was like, oh, I understand the sequence and how to actually score points in this game. But the first couple of plays were rough.
From the game that broke your brain to the most fun game you've played this year, what is the funnest game?
Nana.
Nana!
Hello, duh. What a great game. Okay, that one was easy. But if you were to say, what is the single funnest play, not necessarily the game, not necessarily it came out this year, what is the single funnest play that you've had?
We spoke about it on the podcast before about Love Letter, and it was some time ago, back in March, when we were getting ready to go to the board game weekend hosted by Fun Again here in Eugene. We went to a cafe and decided to break out Love Letter. And while the play itself wasn't super memorable, it was really leading up to it, and it was Reed's first experience leaving cards, and she didn't understand that cards have a top and a bottom. And it just produced a lot of laughs that persisted through the play, and it was just so fun.
I also went with Love Letter for my first one. I didn't have a specific game just because every time we play it, we are just laughing our butts off and having such a good time. But I did have an honorable mention for the first time we played Root.
Oh, nice.
The first time that we played Root tied for my favorite play because we had some costumes, some ears. Becky had a little retractable stabby knife, and that definitely was memorable.
It was plastic, just so everyone knows.
Oh, yeah, it wasn't a switchblade.
Reed surprised us for the game. She came upstairs. Gillian had set it up because he always does. He's perfect. And then Reed had put something that went with our faction at all of our seats. And so we all got to wear or use our items. And I still use that knife to this day.
Those are all honorable mentions that were such a delight. Mine is very personable. It's the mine is very personal to me. And it's only because I was so dumb that I enjoyed it. But it was our play of Thunder Road Vendetta. So Ashton's not home. So we're blasting the Fast and the Furious soundtrack. We're all kind of standing up on the table. I proceed to try and yeet someone off the road and yeet myself off the road back to back, dying. And I was like, wow, I'm trying to kill others, and I have killed myself, and I couldn't do anything but laugh at how stupid I was. I was like, oh, I'm just gonna knock you off this road, and the dice rolls and they're like, now you're dead. And that game was
great.
Just so silly and stupid, and it was so much fun.
That was the tie of this for me. The number one play was definitely that. And I think we played it without the music once, and it just wasn't as good. You just need to have the music on. And then Love Letter was my number 10 game of this year. So I can very much relate to that.
We'd love to think that we were right about everything, but sometimes we're just wrong. What was a hot take or a game you were so very wrong about this year?
Mlem. I was wrong about that. I thought it was just going to be a bunch of randomness and not much fun, but it ended up being a lot of fun, despite the randomness.
I have been very anti-Ark Nova and also Feast for Odin. They're not as bad as I assumed they would be.
Good thing I got that on a recording. I've been trying to get Becky to play A Feast for Odin since I bought it back in, 2017? And she refused, and only this year did she actually play it for the first time.
I was scarred by Caverna. It was too much. There were too many options. And then you're like, oh, here's another game with a million options. And I was like, no, never. And zoos? I hate zoos. I hate zoos.
You hate zoos, and it was funny because we all thought, much probably like my Brussels pick, is that Becky did not like Ark Nova, and all of a sudden we're sitting around the table. She goes, oh, I really want to play Ark Nova, and I think each and every one of our brains exploded into mush.
I was very wrong about Sea Salt and Paper. I absolutely love that game. Absolutely love it. I was wrong.
You were very wrong.
Yeah,
I
we
was
were
so wrong.
Shook at the time. And now we were right. Yeah.
What did you say at one point? You said it was more complicated than Nucleum?
If I did say that, I did not remember saying
You
that.
definitely said something to that effect. And I was like, no,
I'm
it's
not
super
surprised.
simple.
I'm not surprised that I would make a bold declaration like that. I was just like, give or take it. And now I'm like, no, I want to play it all the time.
Reed and I sometimes have the most outlandish hot takes when we're on the pod, so please always take us with a grain of salt. My outlandish hot take, which is not a game I was wrong about. The game is absolutely wonderful. And that's my hot take on the Castles of Burgundy, that the Peasant Edition, as we joyfully call it around the table, the Peasant Edition, which is just the regular version, is trash and you shouldn't buy it and it's so ugly, and you know, the overproduced beautiful uber expensive one is the one you should invest in. I could not have been wrong. Reed and I broke this out over a board game weekend, and it got to the table so quick. Yes, we did have to go through the instructions to double check all of the terrible art in the technology tiles did what, and that all the buildings did what. But it was really nice to be able to play that game and to know now that there's kind of a pub copy that doesn't, you know, it only cost a few bucks to bring it out all the time. I was so very wrong about any edition of the Castles of Burgundy. But it's a great game.
It is really ugly, though.
No, I love the drawings. I don't like the technology tiles, but I love the drawings.
I just love how derpy the sheep look. They're like little clouds with stick legs. And I'm like, this is so dumb. I love it. It's so very great. Up next, best 2-player only game or game that you have played this year that played best at 2.
For me, this one was easy, and that's The Lord of the Rings Duel for Middle-earth. A relatively new to us game. I think I got it last month in October, and it's a re-implementation of one of my favorite 2-player game, that's Seven Wonders Duel, and they combined it with one of my favorite IPs as well, so I felt like it was a no-brainer. And I was pleasantly surprised that they also smoothed out and streamlined the gameplay quite a bit, and so it feels faster. The rules are easier to get into, I would say, than Seven Wonders Duel, and so I very much enjoyed it, and I think it was my favorite 2-player game of this year.
I have to agree. That was my favorite as well. I've played a lot of 2-player only games that Becky have introduced me to, but a lot of those hit for last year, and this was... I just want to explore this game more, and I love, like you said, the streamlined version of it. Makes it so easy to bring out with new people.
I'm going to cheat a little, and I'm going to say Dune Imperium at 2 players is my absolute favorite. Gillian's probably going to date check me, and we probably played it in December of last year. But Dune Imperium Uprising is excellent at 2 players. It's not as good as Dune Imperium, in my opinion, at this moment, but that is probably my favorite. And the other one, which also feels like... not the best answer because I've only played it once, but I'm really excited about Kinfire Delve as a 2-player and also trying it 4-player since we have most of them now. But both of those were great games.
Correction, we have all of them now.
We have all of them.
There's the completionist. My favorite game to play at 2 players this past year has been Castles of Burgundy. Angela and I have gotten it. The peasant copy, the cardboard paper copy, to the table like 3 or 4 times this year, and have also played it online a lot, and I love it.
From games we love to our biggest disappointments of the year. Games that came in with a lot of hype that left you feeling sad and empty inside.
Heat, pedal to the metal.
Wow.
I was expecting the energy that Thunder Road gave, and it definitely was hyped up. I'm not going to say by whom, but it was definitely hyped up, and it was wah, wah.
Well, you only played it once, and none of us knew the rules, so I feel like you need to give it another shot.
Only if we can play loud music.
I have played it twice, and I'm still waiting for that magic moment. I think we need another 3 or 4 plays of it just to make sure we know what's going on.
Yeah, we haven't even played our copy. We just played at the Board Game Convention when we were waiting for other games to open up. And left it to me to try to explain the game when I hadn't played it in like a year. So that didn't pan out well.
My biggest disappointment of the year is something that I talked about on the pod as a joy game once or twice. Actually, I think twice. And that game is Far Away. And I bought this game. I bought into all of the hype. Until recently, it was on the BGA hotness because everybody has been playing it. If you go online, you probably won't find a single negative review of this game, but it just didn't land with our group enough. And I think the more we played, and Becky and I got in some 2-player games of it and played it online, it just fell a little flat in terms of its creativity, being more than just the backward scoring. So that was a game I was really excited about, so much so it was my joy game, but just didn't live up to what my hopes had been for that game.
Mine is Azul Summer Pavilion.
Wow.
I love Azul, and that box is so pretty, and I look at all the Azul games every time I'm at the game store. And at first, and like the tiles are different shapes, I was very excited, but the scoring just really drags it down for me. I do like it on BGA because you're kind of checked out during that part. Or it's just like, oh, I take my turn and then somebody else's turn. But in person, it was a bummer.
My biggest disappointment was Sky Team. It's a game that got a lot of buzz, and I kind of bought it, played it. Did not live up to its sky-high expectations, though.
Oh.
Or my sky-high
I
expectations.
think it ended up winning the Kennerspiel as well.
Yeah.
I want to try it, but now I don't. Never mind.
I think it is good to play once or twice. I would not recommend the online implementation of it unless you've played it in person before, because it just takes a communication in between to understand what's going on. It doesn't lend well to that, but I liked it. I could see after a play that it was going to have a finish line. Speaking of finish lines, what game brought you over the edge of excitement in terms of how pretty it was or the best components that it had?
So in contrast to Sky Team, the one that actually met my sky high expectations was the White Castle, and that was in large part due to how beautiful it was. The art really matched the theme and just the nature of the game, and I love it for that. I also kind of cheated and put in the best components here as a separate one, and that was actually Skyrise, the Premium Collector's Edition in particular. It's a game that we don't have in our shared collection, specifically the Premium Collector's Edition, but we played at the board game weekend, and that has a table presence. All of the kind of plastic, individualized buildings and the wash that's on them on top of this kind of 3D platform on which they reside, it stood out, and all the gold foiling on everything was fantastic. So that one stood out to me for how beautiful the components were.
Mine is also the White Castle, and I would say before and after the coin and Daimo seals upgrades as well. It's just stunning.
When the White Castle was on the table for the first time when we all played it together, my eyes just opened so wide because the game was so stunning, and that by far is the most beautiful game I have played, I own. And for the components, I didn't play the Skyrise game with you all, but I'm going to say Kanban EV for having great components.
Yeah, I kind of put these together so I didn't separate components from game, but I do love gold foil, and I love a beautiful table presence. My game here was actually Kutnahora. I thought that game was really beautiful. The vibrant colors, the dual-use cards, even the mines that we hated were really pretty. Building Santa Barbara Cathedral, I just really liked the way that game looked. Even though the gameplay fell a little short for me, I would say it was a beautiful game.
Yeah, I agree. But I will say the only color are on the cards and the buildings, though. The map itself is just black, white with silver foil.
The illustration on the public tiles are the ones that you build.
The shiny ones.
I don't know if they're shiny. I don't think that they're shiny. The ones that kind of look like 1970s European children's book illustrations to me were amazing.
Gorgeous. What game have you wanted to play this year that you didn't end up playing this year?
Lisboa.
Wow, was that on your want to play this year?
I mean, obviously.
One of many.
Well, there's a difference between wanting to play a game and then wanting to do all the homework to play
I mean, that kind of resides with me, I think, since I own it. So,
Well, I wanted Gillian to learn how to play it
okay.
so then he could explain it to me so then I could play it and love it.
Reed did almost buy this game. It was a toss-up between Gillian and Reed who was going to get it.
That's true.
I had to spontaneously buy it just so I could have it. So,
Speaking of games that Gillian has purchased and we haven't played yet, mine is Federation. That game is really pretty and I really want to play it. And one of my favorite pictures of Gillian is holding the Federation box at Funnigan Games and looking shocked as he's pointing to the price of it.
yeah, MSRP on that game is steep, but you can get a discount online, like online retailers and stuff. So,
Sorry, Rick.
You can. Sometimes you got to balance new games with that. My game is actually, I bought it on a Black Friday sale, I think maybe, and still haven't gotten around to it. And it's not a heavy game in any way, but it's Turing Machine, the game where you kind of play as a computer programmer to figure out. It's got a bit of deduction in it, and haven't opened it up. Still in the shrink wrap, but that's a light, fun game. Or at least I think it is, because I haven't played it and I really want to. So it's something I want to definitely get played.
I want to play that as well. That got quite a bit of buzz when it first came out. Sorry.
I think it looks interesting. I was just going to ask if Becky and Gillian had played it before.
What if it's a flash in the pants?
Oh, no.
The game I didn't play that I really want to is one that I got for free. Well, I should say Reed got it for free and then handed it off to me. And that is Voidfall. I think collectively the heaviest game, according to BGG, that we collectively own. Although On Mars might beat it. I don't remember now. But Voidfall, just everything about it, the Eno Tool artwork, the heavy Euro aspect of it, the 4X gameplay, all of it just sings to me. And I've really wanted to bust it out and play it. I have not, though, because of just how heavy it is and the time it's going to take to learn the rules and teach it. So that one has unfortunately been on the back burner this year.
On the flip side of this question, what is a game that you did play this year that you actually wish you had played a bunch more?
Dune Imperium, not Uprising, but Dune Imperium.
Mine is Dune Imperium Uprising because that one is new to me this year. But yes, both.
Well, Dune Imperium is not new to me this year, so I guess I'm cheating. But I do like Dune Imperium more than Dune Imperium Uprising.
Oh, but it's so hard to decide because Uprising does add a lot of like great mechanics in the cards that I wish were in the first game, but I like the board a little bit better in Uprising than Imperium.
I also love the spies in Uprising. They just, I love that aspect.
But the worms, I don't know how I feel about the worms.
See, I don't know how I feel about the spies. The worms are okay. I like the board a lot more.
We need to play this game more.
I know. We need to talk more about this game. I'm restraining myself, but we do need to release a podcast about Dune Imperium and Dune Imperium Uprising.
Well, maybe that can be something we do soon. Just play those back to back a couple of times and see which one we prefer.
Heck yeah.
My game, very similar to Dune Imperium, it's Wild Child West. That's right. Gillian's least favorite play is actually the game I wish had gotten to the table a bunch more. And it got to the table once with our other game group, and I think they wanted to play it again. But I kind of like this game, and I want to play it more, and I just have not had the chance to at any point. Again, a game I thought I would play with my partner, and she and I have not played very many games this year, so it has not gotten to the table.
Should I say Clayton Catacombs just to round out Paul Denon's games? No, but the game I wish I'd played more is probably going to be a surprise. I only played it once and only with Becky. That's Dinosaur Island Roar and Write.
Wow.
Dinosaur Island is the original Dinosaur Island is one that I backed on Kickstarter way back when it first came on. And I've always loved Jurassic Park. It's one of my favorite things ever. And having a game that kind of matched that aesthetic and that gameplay was something I really wanted out of Dinosaur Island, but it was a little too fiddly for me and too long. But Dinosaur Island Roar and Ride, I think, captures that in a much more distilled, concentrated way. And I loved our initial play of it, and we just haven't played it since. So I wish I'd gotten that to the table more.
As a group, we've been playing more board game arena games, trying to keep some things fresh, especially when some of us are away and we can't play. So board game arena plays have gone up. And what has been your favorite digital implementation that you've played either on BGA or not on BGA?
My favorite digital implementation is actually Root. Reed and I think, both played the digital implementation before we played the real game, just so we could try to learn the factions a bit better. And I think it immensely helped with the gameplay. And I've played it a few times since we had the 3 games that we played together, and I've enjoyed it. It's been a really great way to learn factions and how to approach the game. And I still do want to get Root back to the table, as Reed has mentioned previously as well.
I had a really hard time picking one. Originally, I put Sea Salt and Paper, and then I was like, oh, but Castles is really great on here, and we play it a lot. And then I was like, oh, but I'm playing Harmonies right now, and man, I love this game on BGA. And then I was like, but also, now I'm playing my Welcome to turn, and I love this game on there too. So, I really have loved all of those. You didn't ask this, but on the flip side, like I do struggle with the bigger games like Barrage, Feast for Odin a little bit, and there are a couple others I can't think of off the top of my head, but I do have a hard time like paying attention to the little box with my resources, seeing the big board, seeing my player board. I ignore what you guys are doing. But like in Arc Nova, I just assume I always have enough money to do what I want to do. In the game, I'm very calculated. Like in a real game, I'm like, I have this amount of money. I'm going to spend this and this and this on that. Online, I'm just like, I'm sure I have enough.
Yeah, I will say the caveat here is a lot of the games that we play on BGA are turn-based. So we're not playing sitting around our computers playing in one sitting. It's just whenever our turn comes up, we log in and play our turn. And so I think that, for me, makes a lot of the digital implementations less exciting because I do, as Becky said, kind of tend to lose the thread when my turns are like half a day apart. So I struggle with that.
I'm sorry. It's my fault.
It is often Becky's fault for not playing her turns. That's why I was going to say, me and Reed playing, it's like real time, but we call it turn-based because we're like, okay, we may have 3 games going, so I know when I get to the end of my turn in Barrage, it's now my turn in Castles, and so we finished all of those last night. My favorite is one you mentioned, Becky, and because of some of that, I don't love some of the larger games. In fact, we've played larger games that we've quit because the implementation is just not great. But that, for me, is Castles of Burgundy, because no matter what device I play it on, be it phone, iPad, or the computer, it's so straightforward in a way that you can highlight and see. I will say for a lot of these games, I have the rule book up in another tab. So if I need to cross-reference a technology tile because I'm playing on my iPad and not my desktop, or the Feast for Odin has a lot of the job cards, I have that open in another tab. So, but for me, it's Castles of Burgundy is just such a great play, very streamlined and simple.
I think that Sea Salt and Paper for me is probably the best implementation. I love that it counts the points and the cards are still beautiful, and there's just something nice about clicking or touching the card and being, it's just simple. But I also love how Railroad Ink is easy to play. You don't have to deal with the messy markers, and Welcome to, for the same reason. I think that those are also 2 really good implementations.
Railroad Ink should be on my list of 5 as well.
What is a game that you say, I'm just not that into you anymore? It was, to quote me, a flash in the pants.
Mine is Sky Team. I bought into the hype of it, and I wanted to like it more than I did, but it just fell flat, and Gillian and I sold it.
Mine is a bit of a cheat because I technically played it in a previous year, but only once in a 2-player. That's Brass Lancashire. It was we played it for the first time at 3 and 4 players this year, and it was really as a way to just mix up our intense focus on Brass Birmingham. We had played Brass Birmingham a lot, and so I thought it might be nice to mix it up with Lancashire. And all of us, after each of those 2 plays, we were like, I'd rather just play Brass Birmingham. And so despite my attempt to try to keep both, Becky kind of forced my hand, and I got rid of Brass Lancashire.
I do feel bad. You guys had played the game, and then you guys played a game of it with me, and I was like, oh, look at this dumb game. It's so dumb. Why would I take a loan for only 10 coins? What is this? Why do I need that tile? Why can't I go here?
And that's what Becky sounds like in real life.
Just during Brass Lancashire.
No, it's during a lot of other games
it does
too.
have a boat illustration I'm not a fan of.
Oh, the nautical
Right?
theme comes through.
Thank you.
But we all did really like it without you. I have to say, we're all like, oh, this is kind of delightful.
Why didn't you keep your copy, Angela?
Sick accidental burn. My copy of Birmingham came in smushed. I was going to say something different, but actually, Gillian, you've convinced me. I do agree. I think it's Lancashire, just on the basis of enjoying it, but then being like, why aren't I just playing Brass? And I like I like the interestingness of beer in the game for Birmingham, and I think it did some interesting things. I can see how one game led to the other, and I do think that Birmingham puts together a lot of aspects that tickle my brain better. So, yeah, I think you're right about that one.
Arc Nova.
Wait, what?
This table doesn't remember what question we're answering. Our faces are very concerned. We are like, is she saying something negative about Arc Nova right now? What is happening?
Okay, you're not invited to the next 4-player Arc Nova game.
I'll play it. It's solid in the middle for me. It's always been solid in the middle for me.
You win 2 games and now you're too good for it.
No, I don't win.
Yeah, online solo.
Yeah. Of my 270 online plays, I've won 3 times.
Do you think this is because I was like, whoa, gosh, okay, let me digest this because I was so stunned. Do you think that's just because this game was really high and now it's in the middle, or?
I don't think this game was ever really, really high for me. I think it was... I loved how much you all loved it.
No, specifically Angela and me.
Yeah. Well, now Becky likes it.
Okay, I like when I come out of nowhere and beat you all, especially when you're like, we are going to have to help Becky with this. She hasn't played for a long time.
Beating Angela and Gillian is a good feeling.
It's true. It's true.
Is that why I'm sour on this? Because I don't beat the 2 of you in this game?
No, that would sour you on a lot of games.
I'm sick burn.
I mean, that's how I feel about viticulture. I've just lost so many times in that game. I'm like, ugh.
Oh, I do really like viticulture.
Oh, yeah, that's a new game to you this year. Didn't make your list on anything.
Didn't make any sort of list for you.
I forgot it existed.
All right, we don't play many of these. Probably is a good thing. But what was your best expansion of the year?
For me, it was the expansion for Apiary. I was not super hot on Apiary, and I feel like the expansion did everything right. It gave you more, and it also swapped out some of the things that I think they realized were either like too powerful or just weren't doing it. And they also gave you more ways to do more different actions as bonuses, and I just thought they did a really great job with it.
Yeah, I fully agree. That's my favorite expansion as well, and it's a huge component of that are the frames that you can get to tack onto your hive, because rather than being the same every single time, they added different frames with different benefits that you can cover up and get. And there are also ways in the expansion to actually get those benefits without grabbing the frame. And so I like that component of it just on its own. I thought really spiced up the game.
Yeah, Apiary didn't make my top 9, probably was outside of my, maybe even my top 15, I'm not sure. But I thought the expansion made the game even better. And what had been maybe a mid-game for me of like, I would never turn down a play of it, but I didn't know that it was my tops. The expansion really fixed some of that for me, and it made the play more enjoyable. That actually wasn't my pick, though. I just agree that it was a good one because it was tied for me, and I gave this one a little bit of a nod more, was the Arc Nova expansion, but not necessarily Marine Worlds by itself, but the map expansions. I like that there is some little map packs that you can buy. I think they just released even a second edition of that. I like the variability that each map pack brings so that your personal player board changes a little. And I also thought that the Marine Worlds expansion is great just in how it turns over the cards and you're like, ooh, I want that card. And then a sea card comes out and wipes the whole board and you go, there goes my eagle. No.
I just thought of one as you were explaining the variability, and it's an expansion that I very kind of briefly forgot about. But I also really liked it. Apiary is still my favorite, but my kind of honorable mention is Terraforming Mars Ares Expedition Discovery, which basically adds the milestones and goals that you can achieve. So I like that too.
Well, I want to second that.
Okay, you can delete mine.
Well, I want to second that, but I didn't put that as mine. I just love an end game and a milestone. I have 2. One's a little bit of a cheat because we haven't played it yet, but that's Matcha. It's so beautiful.
It's definitely a cheat.
Yeah, I haven't played it yet.
I haven't played it yet.
We still have time.
No.
The other one is a little tricky because sometimes when Gillian and Becky put out these beautiful games for us, I don't know what's an expansion and what's not. But I'm going to say the fifth column in A Feast for Odin is something that I absolutely love, where you have to spend your remaining workers on it.
Yeah, that Norwegians expansion would have made, I think there were great expansions that came out, and I don't think you should need an expansion, but playing the Norwegians is so good on Feast for Odin that I would definitely recommend it. You have to purchase it with the game.
Yeah, that's a must-have.
Yeah, we're playing the peasant version on BGA, and I'm just angry every time it's my turn. I'm like, oh, why can't I do this thing that's on the other board? Ah!
And that's also what Becky sounds like in real life.
I was just going to say, do I sound like that all the time?
All right, what's a mechanism that stood out to you this year?
For me, it was Barrage and the resource management and action selection specifically that revolves around the construction wheel. So the notion that in order to construct this infrastructure, be it dams, conduits, and powerhouses, you have to devote those machinery resources, being excavators and concrete mixers, to this wheel that are then locked there until that wheel makes a full cycle and comes back and they're once again available to use, was just so strange to work around in the game. It was a bit jarring, but I liked that a lot. And so that mechanism of using resources that will eventually come back to you, but you have to wait for some duration or speed up that duration by taking additional actions devoted to spinning that wheel, was something that really stood out to me.
It is both infuriating and wonderful at the same time because you can't speed it up more than 3, so you have to dedicate at least 2 turns to getting your resources back.
That was a close second for me on mechanisms. It's super interesting that you don't lose the resources that you have, but they are tied up for too long.
Nucleum's multi-use tiles.
Ooh.
Top, bottom, and then flip them over for the rail. Loved it.
I was not a shocker here. A variable economic market is absolutely my favorite. We saw it in Kutna-Hora, Clans of Caledonia. We're playing an online game where I just looked at my gold after I had rigged the yarn market, and then the next turn sold all of my yarn, and I think I have 70 gold. And I was like, I have so much money because of a variable economic market, which I love. I didn't realize how much I would love that.
My favorite mechanism are the spies in Dune Imperium Uprising. I definitely felt distraught in Dune Imperium when you can't get to an action that you need to because somebody blocked you. And with the spies, you plan ahead, like, I'm really going to want to do one of those actions, and so I'm going to have a spy here. So if I need to, in case of an emergency, I can pull that spy back and take that action. And I thought it was a really clever way to, like, kind of fix something in the old game, and also just provide more opportunities as well.
What is the best steal of a deal you got this year?
Okay, mine is Cockroach Poker because Lauren and I believe Hannah, we met them at the board game sale and they bought us that game, and it was like, oh my gosh, thank you, which you all handed it to me because I think I was most excited about it. But then not only did I not pay for it, like, there was some guilt there, like, oh, somebody just gave us something. But then Angela gave away a game that she had just paid for like, not for that game, but just kind of like it felt good. And so I got this game totally guilt-free. It was great.
I like not only was the game free, but then the guilt was a part of it, and that went away. So it was like a double whammy of like money and guilt gone.
Also at the board game swap, I got Apiary and the expansion both unopened for $40 combined, which I don't think anybody can beat that, except coming in a close second is my used Castles of Burgundy for $20.
My deal was just on the off chance it was on the used sale. I think it was maybe $5 or $7, but my copy of King Domino, and I bought that game on a whim because it was so cheap, and have like price per play and enjoyment of game is astronomical with King Domino. Really, really love it.
I'd have to echo Becky's. For me, that was an excellent experience and a free game to boot.
It counts because you're married, so it went into the same collection,
Yep.
and the guilt stayed primarily with you, so double free.
Also, I don't think Gillian ever wanted to spend money on that game, but I've brought it up multiple times through over many years. So
This is true.
So I think like that does truly feel like a steal of a deal for this household for different reasons.
It's not even that expensive of a base.
I know.
It's like $7 and
Like in the whole scope of collections.
Listen, that's $7 that could go towards a weather machine.
Times 20.
times 2,000.
$7 adds up. Okay, 20 times you get a whole different game.
I like that your joy game is like $7 and Federation was Oh gosh, I started this with being like, we don't have a lot of money, and then we're like, but what we do, we spend on board games. We're gonna wrap it up with just the last question as we roll into 2025. What is a game that you're planning on buying, either in Black Friday sales the next couple of months? Before we hit 2025, what is a game you are super stoked you want to add to your collection?
Salt Fjord. That's a game that made a lot of buzz at Essen Spiel, and one that I think kind of resonates with me. It's made by the same designer who did Revive, and all the reviews I've heard coming out are pretty good overall. And I just think the aesthetics of it and the fact that you can basically build this board to program your actions is something that's very enticing to me. So I'm excited to buy that one. I'm waiting for it to hit retail here in the US.
I'm interested but hesitant because there's no yellow player. There's yellow on the board in another way, so I'm going to get confused. And it is boats. So I will stay with you if you think it's going to be a good game.
You say you don't like boats, and yet you buy 3 boats and a Feast for Odin of the same type.
That's mainly because Reed doesn't pay attention.
I do need to wear my glasses. Well, my soon-to-be New Year's resolution for 2025 is not to buy games. So instead of tapering off, I might just go in a frenzy and buy all the games before 2025.
Hey, that Target sale, let me tell you, the Barnes & Noble sale's coming up for Black Friday.
Gillian does almost all of the purchasing for this household, but one game that I pointed out again yesterday at the game store is Calico. I have been so tempted by that game because it just looks, the little kitty on the quilt, it looks so cute and comfy. And then Gillian's like, you're going to hate that game. There's too much math. And I'm like, but look at how cute it is. So I've been very tempted by it.
That cat is a lie.
It's so
It's about
cute.
building a quilt. There are no cats in the game, Becky.
Okay, but I can look at the box with the cat on the quilt.
It's true, but I don't know if that'll enhance your enjoyment of the game.
I feel like Becky's going to get that game this year. It's going to be her 2025 dream, finally. This one is hard for me only because I got here and I was like, oh, I better go talk to Gillian if he's going to go buy Joyride, because I think that we probably obsessively listen to podcasts and YouTube videos a lot. And so when a new hot game comes up and I see a lot of good buzz, I immediately have to check in to see if Gillian's going to get it. That way he can spend his money on it and I can benefit from it. So Salt Fjord, Joyride, so those games are all ones that I was interested in, but Gillian's picking them up. So this one was a little hard because I was like, what game am I going to buy that my friends are not going to buy? And the only game that kind of sits on the periphery, there aren't many, and it's kind of a tie. One is Odin, which is a small box kind of trick-taking game that I want to play, that I've played online but I haven't played in person. And that one will probably happen before the new year on some sort of sale. But I think the big reach for game, kind of in the way that Kanban was for me this year, is actually Clank Acquisitions Incorporated. I think will be the big game that I purchased this year. I have just been delighted by the Clank series of games. I've had so much fun. I want to play Catacombs a whole bunch more. It had a really great expansion, and I think this might be a legacy game, unlike Sagrada Artisans, that we could really get into.
Heck yeah, and then we can record All Things Clank Part 2.
I changed my mind. Pray Another Day.
Oh, you're going to buy that game?
I really thought it was amazing.
Yeah, that art style is something that almost made my most beautiful games of the year. Pray Another Day.
And most importantly, what is your favorite Spindrift flavor?
You guys don't know, but we are either drinking wine, as the clank clank sounds like, or we are drinking cans of Spindrift. My favorite flavor was the strawberry lemonade.
Ooh.
Lime.
I really like the cranberry raspberry.
Blood orange.
Ooh.
Hey, Gillian. They call it a lime. Thanks for listening to Board Game Homies. From us to you, we wish you a merry end of 2024. Thank you for sticking with us, and we have so much more to come in 2025. Bye. Yeah. I'm like, boom, 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 boom. I just sit with my little iPad playing Read all night.
Beating me.
Sometimes. You did win that Splendor Duel game. Now I think you've overtaken the strategy of Splendor Duel and I have to, like, fight to take it back.
I have no strategy in Splendor Duel.
That's about right for you. quite frankly.
But she still wins with it.
Still wins. What if I didn't do the thing the game
You guys, I
asked me to do?
screenshotted my winning percentages on BGA, and I think I have like 35% against you. I think I have like 34% against you and like 33% against Gillian.
Whoa,
I am
you're
bad.
consistent.
Consistently bad.
No.
Rita's keeping up my 50% winning record on BGA, so when I play mean people, I'm like, I'm going to go play Reed to get that percentage up. Unless we're playing Terraforming Mars, which I've never beat her at.